Stream is about to start. Grab your favorite drink. Sit back and relax. You're chilling with Hex Asians. With your host, Crypto Vince, Uncle Kevin Hex, and middle class working man.
Hex Asians? Nice.
Konnichiwa! Konnichiwa! Emotional damage! Give me sushi!
Namaste Hexasians, Namaste Hexicans, and for those who thought I'm going to go away, nah, I must stay. So yeah, while we wait for people to join the chat, let me know in chat what you guys are drinking. I'm having some, ah, you know, because the market is turning bullish, I'm having some Red Bull. Let me light my virtual candelabra. Where is it? Where is it? So nice to see you, Marcavelli. Elliot. Oops. Yeah, here we go. Candles have been lit. Elliot, align the light. Hex model. Yes, drinking some vodka. Like, I like that. I like that. One of my favorite mixes is Red Bull and vodka. But please, it's a kidney killer. Don't do it. I know I'm waiting for maybe a few people to join before I start with the topic of the day. And first of all, let me first apologize. It's a bit of a what you call it, a clickbait title, but uh, yeah, Uniswap V4 won't make other DEXs irrelevant, but yeah, it is going to change a lot of strategies that are being deployed right now, and I'll be going through the Uniswap white paper. Hopefully, I can explain to you guys why it is important for us to know, and a little bit about the Cancun. Ethereum always names their hard forks with weird names, man. I don't know which city it is, but Cancun, and there is one more. Like, they are planning to mix the two together. So we will talk, because without the Cancun upgrade, Uniswap V4 won't be possible. So we will expect at least a delay of 6 months or so. But also, which I find very good, because no, my tea leaf, not tea leaf, but astrology readings say we are going to have a big event in November 2023. Let's see how it goes. Maybe it is the anniversary for Big Payday in Hex, but we will come to know after it occurs. Uh, mm, but hey, by the way, before that, I want to again pat myself on the back. Like, hey, when everybody was saying, yeah, we found a bottom at 1 cent, or we are having uh, what you call support at 1 cent. I told everybody, like, yeah, we are going down below 1 cents. Put in your limit orders. Those who listen, they made a lot of X. I think it's up 50% or more something. But hey, it's still down a lot. It does still hurt, but it's okay. This too shall pass. Oh, wait, what is Align the Light is drinking beer and coffee? That's an interesting mixture. Beer and milk. I haven't tried that. Water and coffee for now. Yeah, keep yourself hydrated, and the coffee will dehydrate you. So, what do you call vicious cycle? Uh, I had bacon and eggs and mashed potatoes for breakfast. I drink sweet iced tea all day. Mm, bacon. I love it. Like some, there is this meme. Some people give up bacon for religion. I give up religion for bacon. But hey, I digress. Vodka to shut down, wash down. Yeah, I prefer not have. I think it was I did that in my younger days, like shot and washing down it, or a chaser with vodka. Now I just prefer to use a mixer, that is mix vodka and whatever flavored drink I want, then food, then smoke. Hexodal is a bit. We are pumping like day or two now, dumping some. Yeah, like everybody is going to take profit. I said we might see some side. It's most likely sideways movement around this 1 cent. But when if you notice, like when there is sideways movement, it is the best time to be a liquidity provider. And if you can, when you can be farming, it's even better. Bacon in the oven is better than uh, bacon in the oven best. Yeah, but I don't how many people have ovens in their home. I have you tried doing microwave bacon? I learned about it. What you do is you place it in the microwave on a microwavable plate and put what do you call paper towel on top of it, so there is no splatter and the bacon becomes extremely crispy. Try it if you haven't. Like, hey, I give you life advice as well. uh, kitchen hacks as well. Everybody missing old school RH streams. Yeah, man, everybody does that. But hey, he's a busy man. I don't know what he's busy with, but hey, that there is responsibility of a whole new ecosystem he's looking after, and the Pulsion ecosystem. Or I have gut feeling that he is like working out and and he's going to be like on stream a buffed. We are going to see a buffed Richard Hart, but and I don't want that to happen. If that happens, like if we have a buffed Richard Hart, like where will we be able to get all the ladies, man? Like we'll get all the ladies. Anyways, let me bring up the Uniswap. What do you call this? The white paper or the light paper? No, it is called the white paper. Oops, can you guys see it? It's a draft, June 2023. Now, Hidden Adams also did a live stream on their Uniswap Labs channel. You guys are welcome to watch that, but it's a lot of technical talk. I wish they didn't do, but yeah, it is how it is. Hexodal is saying the network work, just waiting for pulse expool. It will make it pump. Yes, there are a lot of things that see, the basic network working is a good thing, but it's still like at the user experience level, there are a lot of things to be done. One step at a time, one step at a time. It's going to be. Mm, oops, sorry. So where was I? So if you guys go to the Uniswap blog, I think search for it, like you will be able to find the white paper. Uh, Look, I didn't want to, like, I don't want to read the whole thing, but here is like, how do I zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out? Freaking see, for everyone to know, there are four main things that Uniswap V4 improves on, or what you call the new features that have been introduced. These namely hooks, the singleton contract, flash accounting, and native ETH, support for native ETH basically. So uh, going like this order of mentioning is a bit troublesome because people won't like you. I don't like the chronology of it. Let's. I would rather go the other way around. Like, first thing to discuss is the support for native ETH pools. So with uh, uh, with that, like, mm, maybe we go back to a little bit of history. Like when we one launched, it had only support for native ETH, um, and there were some advantages to it. First of all, the biggest advantage is, of course, gas fees, because you don't have to convert your ETH into wrapped ETH. The and The other good thing was that every token needed to be paired with ETH. That is, if there were, if you wanted a hex pool, you had to uh, put in equal amount of hex and Ethereum. If you wanted a USDC pool, you had to put in equal amounts of USDC and Ethereum. And when you wanted to swap between hex and USDC, or USDC to hex, you would the router would convert the USDC to ETH and then convert it to hex. This was great, but this had certain limitations. First of all, if like you can only have one pool for the token, that is, if there is a hex and ETH pool, there cannot be a second hex and ETH pool with a different price or anything. So that was the problem arised, which was noticed with the USDT pool, which is somebody messed up the ratio. So somebody put in like I think it was like 100 GUI of Ethereum and one USDC in the pool. So, so you understand the price of Ethereum in USDT was around millions. Of course, nobody could actually execute the trade because mm, like there is no liquidity. You cannot buy that much Ethereum or USDT. So that is why they introduced Uniswap V2, where we had ERC20 to ERC20 um, pools, which which meant you can directly swap hex for USDC or USDC to hex. Uh, Short break. Let me say hi to Red Squirrel Loy. But I would I'm going to ignore the chat for a little while so that I don't lose my train of thought. So we were saying Ethereum. So we discussed how mm, the Uniswap V1 had native ETH support, but it gave rise to problems. So they shifted to V2. Uh, but the other funny that there was a pool for wrapped Ethereum and unwrapped Ethereum. So you could literally be trading Ethereum versus Ethereum or being a liquidity provider for it, and you will be earning ETH for doing that. Why did that exist? Because sometimes the gas fees for wrapping Ethereum were greater than that for swapping Ethereum. So that pool was helpful. Plus, wrapped Ethereum was used for the MakerDAO contract, so it did have a lot of demand. And I remember when there was a crash for because when DAI depegged from a dollar. Yes, I'm old enough to remember that, and because Ethereum price crashed, I think it was during the COVID crash. Wrapped Ethereum became like I think it was 15 times more expensive than normal Ethereum because it was being used to liquidate those MakerDAO positions. And if you had removed your liquidity from the wrapped ETH to ETH pool, you could have made like I think 10x or 15x in a single hour or so. Yeah, that is how crazy liquidity farming is or liquidity pooling is. So it's not for the faint-hearted. So while we discussed some of the disadvantages of native ETH, it was kind of overcome by using ERC22, ERC20 tokens, like for oh shit, on V2. Plus, Uniswap V2 also introduced something like the on-chain oracle. Now, previously, Uniswap V1 was like price agnostic, like the contract does not know exactly what price each token is. It only knows the ratio of the tokens that are in the pool, and that ratio can only be affected by an external agent, that is a trader or who will buy or sell or and change the ratios of the pool. But with Uniswap V2, they introduced oracles which uh, calculate the price of the token in using I think they use USDC prices. um, yeah, but they keeps track of all the transactions and therefore the price, and that is why Uniswap V2 itself can be used as a oracle for a price feed, which I think most of the websites now use. I think like Hex.vision was the first one to do it, and then Staker app started using it, and then they added a huge number of other tokens, and other started people started copying it. But that gave an advantage, like we didn't need to, so that introduced the concept of an on-chain oracle. So we get our data directly from Ethereum, not from a external computer, um, or anybody running an oracle. Which, on a side note, like which makes me think about what do the link guys actually do. Like I agree. I haven't. Rather, I admit I haven't gone through the entire link protocol, but I still don't get the concept of a decentralized oracle or how they're actually implementing it. But coming back to V2, we had two improvements. Uh, we have ERC22, ERC20 transactions, and on-chain Oracle. Then it also had, I think, no, what you call external call. I think no, I don't want to misquote or anything, but hey, but with that there were this creation of multiple pools. So now we could have a pool with hex and USDC, one a separate one with hex and Ethereum, and hex and DAI. So mm, yeah, so that way this also gave rise to price differences between each of the pool, and which kind of gave the need for uh, what we call DEX aggregators. Even though the new router in the pools, Uniswap pool, did its best to give you the best price by routing through all the uh, pools, it still didn't. How do you say? But what happened was the famous the original vampire attack by I still don't think it should have been called a vampire attack, but yeah, the Ethereum, what you call Sushi Swap was introduced, and then multiple other similar exchanges. There was Moon Swap by 1 inch exchange, then I don't even remember those other, but there was, yeah, of course there was a slight difference, different implementation of the DEX protocol using uh, kind of a bonded price for stable coins. So we have the introduction of curve protocol, then we have the introduction of 0x protocol, then there was Bancore. So all these things led to uh, different pools with different prices, and that gave rise to the need for an aggregator. And the first one to do so was 1 inch exchange, which which by the way, I still use it mostly. uh, One of the best aggregators I find on chain. um, so yeah, so these are the things that were introduced in v2. The other thing that was introduced in v2 was something known as flash loans. So flash loans are basically borrowing tokens from a liquidity pool uh, at zero interest, um, to be paid back at the within the single block. That is, you could borrow. So this was being used for arbitrage between different pools already. So you you could borrow millions of dollars, you from a one pool, use the um, borrowed or whatever tokens you borrow to sell down or change the price on another pool, and then rebuy the tokens to pay back the loan in a single transaction, or routed in a single block, and you could make profit. This mechanism was used for the exploitation of, I think, couple of protocols. I don't even remember their names. I think DYDX was hacked because of it, or was it synthetics or similar? Like, I'll have to go back and, Richard has this Twitter thread of all the failures of DeFi and crypto since Hex was launched. It's there in it. So Flash loans introduced an excellent feature. So anybody could do what would normally take a whale to do. Uh, so that was the advantage of it. Um, and people were taking that. Plus, there were other things developed on top of it. Then we had the with that they discovered that using the norm with v2, they discovered using this simple mechanism is a bit uh, the term given was capital inefficient, which mean so what happens is when you have uh, how do I put it? When you have a pool with the price determined by the formula x into y is equal to k, where x and y are the prices of the token in the pool, and k is a constant. See, the mm, most of the tokens that are in the pool are never traded. uh, so they are just sitting in the pool, not doing anything. And what is an investor's worst nightmare? That his money is sleeping. You should always keep your money working for you. So that is how they invented V3, which is they have price limits, or what is known as range bound liquidity. So you can put liquidity a certain price range which mimics, which still uses the formula x into y is equal to k, but with limits on the price, how high the price can go. And because of this, they had to um, rather because of this, the tokens which were given as representation of your liquidity in the pool could not be ERC20 tokens, because each position would be different. So they introduced NFTs for liquidity providing, which hey, which is another different um, like which made it a bit gas inefficient but capital efficient. So mm, so far what we saw was it went from gas efficient to capital efficient. So I know people don't like when I say it, but like Uniswap V2 is the worst of all the three protocols. Uh, like uh, V1 is gas efficient, V3 is capital efficient. Yeah, in V2 we are getting the worst of both things. Um, um, but and but hey, it's okay because we'll have improvement. And even though PulseX is a fork of V2, it's see there I don't like. We will have better things built on top of it, which will make it more gas efficient and capital efficient. But one of the main things for capital efficiency is the liquidity, and because PulseX is the most liquid. Uh, what to call it, most liquid DEX on Pulse chain, yeah, we really don't have to bother regarding capital efficiency. So, what so far we have gone through the history of Uniswap 1 V1 to V3. So we came to know about how these things work. So yeah, you put in your tokens in the pools for Uniswap, which created a new pool each time. What Uniswap V4 introduces is it moves away from the old model, uh, and instead there is a single uh, contract that holds all the pools. This is known as the singleton model. So this way there is it reduces the need for the cost of pool creation, because you are not minting new tokens, etc. And also limits multi-hop trades. uh, Rather, it reduces the fees for multi-hop trades. And it also uses flash accounting, which requires no tokens, are like we mentioned and in V2 for flash loans, that at the end of the call, uh, or end of the function, there should be no tokens that are owed to the pool or the caller at the end of the lock. During the call, the tokens can be used for a number of operations inside and outside the single. So what we discussed in V2 flash loans, it can be done it can be done internally or externally, but mostly it will be done internally on the singleton contract, so it will reduce uh, the fees for those transactions. The functionality is made efficient by transient storage opcodes processed in EIP 1153. Yeah. So this is going to be the new buzzword or hype word for Uniswap, as well as Ethereum, like because we already saw in what was that? Shit, 1559. Uh, no, not 1559 is the NFT EIP. It's But yeah, we'll go through what the transient storage opcodes are in a little while. I'll try and open up the EIP as well. So, so the greatest advantage to these upgrade here is the singleton contract. So, single contract for all pools, and flash accounting across pools done internally. So it also kind of reduces MEV attacks, because it was the transaction would be done in a single contract. So like in a single transaction, multi-hop transaction. So there is less chance of being front run or being sandwich attacked. So that would also be helpful. And the last one, and the most important one, is hooks. Hooks allow in Uniswap V4 allows anybody to a new concept deploy new concentrated liquidity pools with custom functionality. For each pool, the creator can define a hook contract that implements logic executed at key points of the call's life cycle. These hooks can be also manage swap fee for the pool, as well as withdrawal fees charged to liquidity providers. Yeah, so if you so what again, going back to a bit of history, like Uniswap V1, there was a flat fee for swapping, as well as liquidity providing of about point 0.3, not about, of 0.3%. So with each swap, you paid the fees to the liquidity provider. With It remained the same on V2. With V3, they introduced multiple tiers depending on which, like the type of tokens you wish to use. So if there was a stable coin, you would want like, uh, the gas fees to be, or rather the LP fees to be less, uh, which is like 0.1%. Uh, for normal tokens, it would be like hex. It should be around 0.3%. For exotic assets or highly volatile crypto, it would with small pools, it would be 1%. So this gave a limited uh, kind of opportunity for the liquidity providers to choose what kind of fee they want to charge on the tokens. With V4 and hooks, these fees can not only be uh, like in certain tiers, uh, but also they can be dynamic. That means your fees can change according to the liquidity present in the pool. It can change upon the volume being transacted or daily volume. It can be changed at the whatever new logic the developers may think of. Uh, so that's a thing. Plus, with that also withdrawal fees can also be changed. Mm, and can so let me where is this? See, show you guys the example of a hook. Uh, yeah, so see what we normally do on Uniswap, like this is the algorithmic or representation, like flowchart kind of. Normally we just start swap, it does the execution, and end swap. Now we can have various checkpoints or flags, where the code will check if a predefined condition or a hook is true, and then it would e- e- depending on whether uh, see if the thing is, I am a bit irritated by this chart because this is not the normal representation that should be used for doing an algorithm. The rhombus is used to provide when there is a decision making. The rounded things are like for endpoints, and the normal rectangle is for statements. But hey, that's just my OCD check kind of pumping. So, so instead of having a simple swap, you could have like the contract check for how much amount is being swapped, for example. So it will check for let's say is the amount or total amount being swapped more than $10,000 or like $600, you know. Because if you are swapping more than $600, then you have to do AML KYC, is what I remember. That's why who's that? Ron Paul, not Ron Paul, I think Rand Paul, Ron Paul. Their names are all the same to me. He sent 600 and $600 and 10 cents to Ukraine so that their accounts can be audited. That's the meme that is floating around. But coming back, so let's say if you have doing a swap, and you can put in a function like check if the amount to be swapped is more than 600. then yeah, if that is true, it will run the run before swap hook, which will, for example, if you are having doing a $600 more than $600 swap, then let's say uh, you have to check if the address is in a certain whitelist. So if your address is in the whitelist, that is this again this flowchart is all messed up, but it's like, if if the before is true, then you can go. This is not the return function. Then you execute the swap, or otherwise, like if the flag itself had a field, like if if the amount is less than 600, that is the just execute the swap. Then after then you can have uh, a similar kind of logic after the swap. So yeah, then I don't have a like, good example for it right now, but you got the point. Like you can have another condition, like if you is the like let's say the amount sorry, are we is hmm, I can't let's skip that part. Like think of like even the Uniswap developers are haven't like they have created these swap functions or other hook functions, but they themselves don't know how different, what are the different ways that these hooks can be used. So it's up to you if you can. Like I spent a couple of sleepless nights thinking about what these hooks can be used for. I did come up with a couple of ideas, but implementing those, maybe I will use them for my token, the optimum yield aggregator. Oh yeah, please wait. Then so if you got this far, then like we said, it like we already discussed how we will see gas price reduction. Then yeah, and governance update, like for there were certain mechanisms that were put in to Uniswap v2 that were not uh, that had an admin key with the governance, that which is the buy and burn function, which never went through on the DAO. Like governance voting didn't go through, which we active on PulseX activated by default. uh, yeah, so sometimes democracy doesn't work. Yeah, uh, big deal. um, so they had this governance fee or protocol fee, uh, which could be activated, where like a small percentage of the swap fee or the ex- uh, uh, withdrawal fees could be sent to uh, maybe a governance contract, maybe burned, maybe distributed to the liquidity providers of, or maybe sent to uh, uh, stakers of a separate token, like these. So they had this functionality, but they never implemented it so far. being able to do that now, they have this will be done through hooks, and you can have a dynamic fees, or like we already discussed, and we can have various governance, or let me read that in their own words. Uniswap v4 has two separate governance fee mechanisms: swap fees and withdrawal fees, each with different mechanisms. First, similar to Uniswap v3, governments can elect to take up the capped percentage of the swap fee on a particular pool. With v4, if hooks initially choose to turn on withdrawal fees for a pool, governance also has the ability to take up the capped percentage of withdrawal fee. Unlike Uniswap v3, governance does not control the permissible fee tiers or tick spacing. So, like I said, uh, there are two different fees: governance fees and swap fees and withdrawal fees. Uh, the hooks can be used to take a percentage of either of them, but it does not control like what fee tiers can be used. Uh, like in Then we discussed how V4 will be gas efficient. Plus, this should be of a see, the sneaky guys kind of put it in at the end. So this is the donate function that allows users, integrators, and hooks to directly pay in-range liquidity providers either or both of the tokens of the pool. This functionality relies on fees accounting system to facilitate efficient payments. Fee payment system can only support either of the tokens in the token pair of the pool. The potential use cases could be tipping in-range liquidity providers on TWAM, uh, time-weighted automated market maker. It's They still don't have a how to pronounce it, but the I think the consensus was TWAM. So we'll go to TWAM orders in a little bit, but see, so with this you can this with a donate function you can give up extra incentive, or like I still don't get it how to utilize it. Like they have given one potential use case, but the in-range liquidity providers are already earning fees. Why pay them more? Uh, and but one thing you can do is you can have it so that they only earn in one token. So if you are providing, say, liquidity for the um, hex and USDC pool, you can make it such that the in-range liquidity providers get paid extra in hex, or maybe you can have it the other way around, have them being paid extra in uh, USDC. And then we will go to, where have they mentioned that TWAM? Mm-mm. So yeah, here. Mm, so these are the some of the potential use cases of hooks. Whether they can be implemented safely is still under discussion, but these are some of the examples. Executing large orders over time through TWAM. So, what TWAM does is you can have a hook or a function that can swap at a certain price when the time weighted average price is that price. So this is very important. It is like putting in a large limit order, but the thing is, if you put in a large limit order, it kind of spooks the market. Like, say for example, if somebody put a giant 80 million hex sell order on the uh, whichever dex you use. I use 1 inch. You can also use matcha.xyz, or what was the cow swap to execute your limit order. Or so if you put in such a huge limit order, what happens? You spook the market. Like, there is so much of sell side liquidity. People already start front running you. What this instead does is it will uh, put in smaller uh, orders at a certain price range, and so there is better execution of the price, plus there is less chance of price running away from you, plus there is less slippage. So overall better execution of the trade. uh, these things are already being are still being thought about. And of course, on-chain limit orders that fill at tick prices. Yes, like, this is another thing. Like, yeah, you can instead of now, normally what we see is having uh, limit orders. How, I hope you guys know, like, there are different ways limit orders are executed on chain or through a DEX. Like, uh, cow swap has its mechanism known as solvers, where the trades are done kind of off chain. Then there is Uniswap, which has its, or not Uniswap, uh, 1 inch, which has its bots, which check for prices and execute orders when they are profitable through the pools. Um, so with hooks, you can have that functionality of limit orders built in, like, so that it can be executed at a certain price or a tick. Or you can, like we already discussed, have a use the time weighted average price for doing limit orders, which is what most exchanges use, because trading on tick prices is dangerous. Like, we see multiple, like, what you call, scam wicks on exchanges. uh, but hey, if you catch the bottom of that wick, like, there is no more satisfying feeling. Then I think I already discussed this volatility, shifting, dynamic fees. So yeah, like, we have static pools of different um, fees, 0.3%, 1%. You can have it shift, have dynamic fees in the same pool, depending on how much. volume or liquidity is there in the pool. Now, this is the most interesting part. It's still, I am not sure how they plan to do it, but if they are able to minimize or internalize MEV for liquidity providers, this should be the best thing for the liquidity providers. See, right now, a huge chunk is actually, I still don't understand it. Like liquidity providers, yeah, there is a slight possibility of a sandwich attack when you are putting in liquidity, but in general, these the liquidity providers are still earning fees for, irrespective of MEV, or rather, it's like if there is a sandwich attack, there are like three trades instead of two, not two. Like instead of a single trade, there are three trades. Like before the bot trades before your order, then your order gets executed, and then the bot again executes its order. So I don't know how having uh, like preventing MEV is beneficial for liquidity providers, but let's see how things will go. Then, of course, we had uh, like in we discussed V2, the introduction of Oracle. It does complete price tracing, but with hooks, you can modify those Oracle implementations, so you don't have to like you don't need complete data from all the pools. Ah, so these are all the good things about Uniswap V4. If you, I hope you found this presentation helpful. If you did, please hit the like and or leave a comment. Uh, so finally, overall, uh, in summary, Uniswap is a non-custodial, non-upgradable, and permissionless AMM protocol. It builds on concentrated liquidity model introduced in V3 with customizable pools through hook. Complementary hooks are other architectural changes like singleton contract, which holds all the pool state in one contract, flash accounting, which enforces pool solvency across each pool efficiently. Some of the improvements are native ETH support, ERC1155 balance accounting, in Sorry, how long have I been gone? Wait a minute. Shit. Oh my god. Yeah. So, one thing, like this thing, I'm not completely sure. So, yeah, like V3, you will get ERC1155 tokens, which are NFTs for providing to represent your liquidity. But I think it also means uh, that you may not minting them would be optional. Like if you don't want to, like something like a HSI. So if you want to tokenize or liquidity to, then you can do that. But even if you don't, the contract still has your tokens. You will be still earning, but just you won't be able to see the, like you will be able to see it on the website, but not in your, you won't be able to see the tokens in your wallet. So that's one thing. Now the best part, which I kind of skipped in general, or like I said, it's the most hype worthy part of this next cycle. Or what is the, where did we go, the Cancun upgrade. Where it, I still, where is it? Where is it? Yes, the transients. I hope you guys can see. Transient storage. So I'll just go through the abstract and motivation. This proposal introduces transient storage opcodes which manipulate a state that behaves identically to storage, except transient storage is discarded after every transaction. In other words, values of transient storage are never deserialized from storage or serialized to storage. Thus, transient storage is cheaper since it never requires disk access. So, transient storage is accessible via smart contracts uh, to smart contracts via two new opcode codes, which is the T load and the T store, where stands for transient. So why go through all of this if you are, or rather, why this is important to Hex users? Well, here is something we all were made painfully aware of. That is the S load function. Um, so basically, what Hex does every time it stake ends, it has to read through disk all the transactions and write some uh, uh, I sorry. Uh, like Sodal is still here. I know it's a lot of technical information, but yes, I'm here in for the tech. I'm here for the tech. Uh, but hey, look, nobody goes in this deep. I know most people will fall asleep after someone goes this deep in technicals, but so for those who stayed, uh, kudos to you guys. Um, plus, uh, yeah, so this is the most exciting part. We were made painfully aware of the sload function when the sload function for uh, on Ethereum was shifted, because okay, it happened like in 2020 itself, when the blocks were getting full. And plus there is always this conspiracy theory that yeah, Vitalik chose to do that just to screw over DEX users. I don't believe that. Like, in general, the thing is, you want the blockchain to be, or the data on the blockchain to be as small as possible, so that like anybody, if it becomes too large of a part of data, then it becomes their so we kind of problem through T load or a transient load. So instead of the contract reading all the data, like there can be transient, like it can be done once by a single user, or the one who does the first stake or unstake, and the same data can be used for different users. Because it is in transient storage, it would be much cheaper. Now I know what you guys will be asking, like, but hex code is immutable, how can we change the slow function to tload? See, this is like, we don't have to do it directly, it can be done indirectly, by using call functions, which like the hex code hex, um, hour games and whatnot. But so it can be done that way. So those people who are crying, oh, hex is going to die on Ethereum, the gas fees are going to kill everyone, dump all your ETH. Yeah, your theories have been put to rest. Say hello to the real world, wake up and smell the coffee. Mm, so I know I'm kind of a bit feeling down. One 1553. Now there was another EIP that was going to be implemented, which is also kind of trying to correct all the evils that happened earlier, which is, this is the EIP 3529, or reduction of refunds. So it's a in I'll give you just read the simple summary, that is remove gas refunds for self-destruct, sorry, and reduce gas refunds for S store to a level where the refunds are still sustainable but no longer high enough to current exploits, uh, to reduce the mechanism, to keep the refund mechanism viable. So for those who don't know what this exploit is referring to, it's basically the 1 inch gas token. If you guys have been here since 2020, you might know, like when this S load and S store functions were increased, gas prices went high, crazy. So now Ethereum has its kind of incentive to contract creators who delete their contract. Once you delete the contract, you get refund on the gas that was used to mint the contract. So why uh, why again? So we can keep the storage clean, as well as like you this kind of use of transient or temporary contracts, some of them were mostly some of temporary, like single line contracts or bots which do flash loans, etc., who were being used. So self-destruct kind of was incentivized so that redundant data shouldn't be there. So this gave to rise to gas token. So what gas token did is used the block space, or made redundant contracts, or fake redundant as in empty contracts on the blockchain, while the gas fees were low, and that was represented by the gas token, and they were able to use that gas token to pay for fees when the gas fees were high. So which, I if you have you guys heard regarding the I think it's not called the Cobra paradox, but what happened, it's a true story. In India there was this problem of cobra snakes, poor population, um, and it was killing the farm animals, as well as humans. So the British kind of put out a reward for the each cobra that was captured. But like so initially the population of cobras decreased, but later it was found that it kind of increased the population of snakes. Why? Because small people started breeding snakes so that they can have more rewards. So this is what kind of happened with gas token. So they are going again, a conspiracy theory kind of, like the Uniswap guys and the Ethereum Foundation are working together against 1 inch to kill their gas token, which they kind of already have, but this again will reduce the gas fees. So yeah, so we will be able to cheaply buy, sell, and stake hex on Ethereum soon. But by the way, i- like these problems was for you plebs. plebs who could not afford $50 gas fees. Uh, See, if you're doing trades of tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you don't really care about whether the gas fee is 100 or 50. Um, it's those normal retailers swapping $150 that have, or staking hundreds, 100 or $200 that have no problem with gas fees. So Pulse Chain was designed to help you plebs to be able to transact and get into the best asset that has come up so far in the last 3 years, 4 years, I would say. So yeah, the, I think I will stop the presentation right now. I am open for questions. If you guys have any, if you have dozed off, I am okay with that as well. Yeah, the la, but hey, I do have some other things to share. Hopefully, this works. I always try to bring up the hex chart. Uh, See, I think because I find it to be very beautiful. Can you see this? See, like I said, we are like I said, we need to be around the old crossover point, so we are still a bit far away. But see, this is the Haikanashi. It's showing a clear uptrend. Hope it follows through. But if you want to check with the Bollinger Bands, then you should be either should be using normal candles. So here are the normal candles, and these are three. I think the three green candles are known as the three. It's called three white soldiers because if when you use hollow candles, this is supposed to be they are supposed to look white. So yeah, so it's could be a bullish trend. I'm still not sure because we are right about at the midline of the Bollinger Bands, which is like iffy to say the best. Whether when we cross over, then it is more bullish than when, because we might see some resistance here. But overall, I think we might see some like still. I'm hoping sideways action to us, slightly bullish action. Let's see. I hope we. So here is kind of the previous resistance or support kind of previous resistance was at around 1.35 cents. Yeah, so 1.35 cents. When the price is above 1.35 cents, I will be more bullish. But like, see, these charts are kind of misleading because like after the fork, you have those who are staked still have like a combining those two prices kind of gives you your portfolio. If you bought on a single chain, then this this like chart is kind of misleading. But like I like to say, the rain follows the forest. It's a Hawaiian proverb. So yeah, these prices are all interlinked and all move together, kind of. So one coin being bullish is bullish for me. Then so we have this, my suggestion, if you like, please, first of all, please listen to me. I know what, like, I only speak when I'm confident about it, and if I'm not, I just keep, like, I mention that as well. But yeah, so and those who follow me or listen have profited. Uh, hope you guys bought in at less than 1 cent. Now probably up 50% or something. We were going to see the. Now this is if you are just hodling hex. If you want to keep your hex liquid and where is this, and make some more hex, and then you can go to pulsex pools. Now this is v1. I like this pool, which is the hex ehex. It did about 3 million in volume, about 1 million in liquidity. 117% APR. These are like projected values and change with price. So take it with a grain of salt. But uh, yeah, around $7,700 have been paid out to liquidity providers. Wait, this is not correct because this is V1. So let me see if it shows. Yeah, this is wrong. This is V1. These fees have been burned. But hey, if you are having pulsex or you sacrificed for pulsex, you should be happy with that. These were used to pump the pulsex price. If you go to V2, that will give you a better. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Hexonair, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. While this, see, like I said, just launching the blockchain is not the end of it. The user experience still sucks. V1, V2, I don't know. Let's see if I can. Yes. So this is Uniswap sorry, PulseX V2, 3 million, around 4 million in hex EHEX liquidity, and about 44% APR. And what better can you, what do you want? Like, you're earning in the token you already like and own. So yeah, and of course this will change with the hex price as well. It's paying out 1.5 million in liquidity, or rather in volume, and 4 million in liquid, 44% in APR. और की चाहिए plus if you are, wait, I forgot to go to the V1 farms. Oops. So these are all the, would I haven't connected my wallet, I would have exposed everything. Ah, so again, uh, Pulse X versus Pulse APR 28%. Yeah, it's good with around 90 million in liquidity. Maybe like, why is there still so much liquidity here when you are, other than earning incentive token? It's because a lot of early liquidity providers are suffering impermanent loss, so they are hoping that their uh, like the loss is kind of reduced with pools rebalancing. uh, that's the only thing you can do personally uh, for doing that. uh, so but hey, if you really want like the pulse X price and pulse price to pump, I would suggest like diversifying this liquidity. If you, thing is, if there is too much of liquidity, that makes moving the price more difficult. So maybe it's, like uh, eat up that impermanent loss and just withdraw some of the liquidity and rebalance it. Uh, I'm not sure because everybody's position is different. So something you guys should consider. If you want, if you like trading Ethereum, you could be a liquidity provider for. Uh, sorry, yeah, wrapped Ethereum and Pulse, which gives around 200% APR. So, wrapped BTC Pulse 230. Six. Again, too much liquidity in these two pools also. Like, yeah, I think like people, I said up this on the previous stream, and I saw a sudden rise in this, or this liquidity. Like people were, people are earning ink through Pulse X and wrapped Pulse liquidity. Then you remove some of the liquidity and pair it with the ink you have earned and enter these two pools. So you are earning more ink. So that's what I call compounding. And I think this itself should be enough for like ink game theory. Like, what do you want more? Like, yeah, things are being built once you have farms, or rather once you have the, this button is still there. It will be activated, or this tab will be active sometime soon. You will be able to stake you those ink tokens to earn more tokens, or maybe somebody who has a large bag of ink may incentivize create his own token to incentivize taking ink. Possibilities are limitless. So like, if you see, This is the problem, or what I feel like listening to all the crybabies out there. Why? What do you do with ink? You just sell it, huh? Bro, that applies to all tokens with inflation. But hey, nobody. I forgot to mention this, and this is something unique to PulseX and ink token. So you see, with SushiSwap, with Uniswap, with PancakeSwap, which are kind of all uh, forks of each other, mainly of SushiSwap, but they have a single token for incentivization as well as for governance. That means their governance token is also the incentivization token. Uh, and for incentivization token, you cannot have a limited supply um, unless you plan to like have a because once you stop paying out the incentive token, the so-called liquidity locust or liquidity providers, um, they will shift their liquidity to another pool that will be providing the incentive token. Why? Because people like getting free airdrops all the time. Like everybody loves this. So, like, learn from the past. Read your crypto history. Uh, so that's how things are. So with PulseX, we have two separate tokens, and if you played with PulseX on what was it, testnet V2B, yeah, there was kind of a mechanism for setting up pools with PulseX, and for there was provision for governance using PulseX token, not the ink token. So ink token uh, is very less likely to be used as the governance token. So I hope you got that part right. Like, wait, where is that? Oops, I should be clicking here. So ink token does not need more game theory. It is the game theory. Like you, um, again, you can, if you like, you have to explain it in the language people understand. So, and sometimes it's okay to like give a what you call a shorter answer just to make the guys quiet. Like, yeah, if you don't understand, yeah, you just consider it as a meme coin. Like, it doesn't mean that it is a meme coin. It means, yeah, you can, like, even meme coins have huge pumps or people buy and sell them all the time. Why? What is the utility? Like, bro, the utility is it crypto itself. Like, you don't need much more than that. Like, as long as you are able to transact the tokens on chain, that is enough. But choosing beggars, man, choosing beggars, I say. Uh, so I hope I have cleared some things up and I've confused you guys enough, if not already. But what else do I have to say? Yeah, you can farm or you can. So we have PulseX V1 and V2. Please, There is no V3 yet. There is no official Pulse X V3. Know another project that put out a tweet regarding Pulse X V3. Stay away from that shit. Don't do that. Don't. And I hope, like, many a times sacrifices don't be are not very useful. The people who sacrificed for Pulse 6 are getting to know it firsthand. Then I know there are other projects that have been stalling their launch for a long time. Uh, so don't keep control of your uh, private keys. Okay, not your keys, not your crypto. Mm. And also be aware of scammers on Twitter as well as on Telegram. I recently learned that there was a fake profile of me. Somebody created a safe profile of me and messaged a person in the Hex India Telegram group. See, but at least I have told the Hex India Telegram is very closely knit group. So the guy immediately messaged me, bro. I'm getting a message from a scammer that you are with your profile. So that this is how you should have a good Telegram group. Educate people, save them from hurting themselves. That is about it. Mm, eh, if anybody is still listening, or rather, can say, like, can I have a comment so that I know that, like, put in some, like, STUF in the STFU in the comment section so that I can end the stream. I know this has been knowledge overload. Yeah, thanks, thanks, Exoner. Uh, I think this stream has been a knowledge overload, but I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me, so that I can have a better presentation I can give when I am doing my Pulse Oya token tour in India, probably in September or November. Big things have planned a lot of things just for keep an eye out for this space. And at the end of the day, oops. Well, good for you, X on Air, and thanks, Agenda 69. Thanks for listening. Uh, what you see, I said, like, I was going to stop doing these solo streams, but I realized uh, these are much better than being on stream with a panel. You know, especially when there are Americans on the panel. Please, yes, I am being a bit of killjoy or whatever. Call me racist, but yeah, I just said that, yeah, Americans on the panel. Like, I remember I was on the Exo stream, like, bro, guys, don't shut, like, say one point, stop, let other people respond. None of them stop, like, keep yapping and yapping. blah 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 blah. Nobody wants to see or listen to your Randy Rona. Fuck. Oh shit. Anyways, thank you. So this is where I can rant and have complete control of myself. I can discuss points in detail. I see we had about 4 listeners who shit. Oh, so we had around 4 viewers who watched through the entire or the average on this stream. I am satisfied, and hopefully I will be able to stream again next week. I don't know how good this timing is, but like this late night, my internet is much better. So yeah, I will be changing the time for the streams of Hexations because hey, the original founders have abandoned the channel. When they come back, they can kick me out, but till then, I am going to enjoy this. After all, I have put in like I have been on this channel for like past 3 years, like from the first episode, either in chat or in on screen. So I don't want this channel to be gone in obscurity. Anyways, all I'm going to say now, close off screen. Nice. Have
Bye.
a
Have a beautiful
beautiful
time.
time. And for those who hate, keep hating. We are going to go to our favorite song, Kacha Badam. Bye.
आए बदन से पहले माता चूड़ी माला दिए मोबाइल बॉडी भांग दिए बदम मोबाइल बॉडी गुलो पासी से कदम तत समान समान